When I first started longboarding, I wanted nothing more than to be on the nose. However, I never knew the hardest part of this process was actually setting up your board properly before you start your cross steps. In last week's video, I discovered something that I think is crucial to getting the board set up right, and we're going to get to the bottom of it in this video. My name is Brian James, and you're watching Longboard Sessions. Let's get into it. Well, it's starting to get a little bit chilly out here, so I'm breaking out the trusty boots. And hopefully, I don't have to wear them. Made it to the first break. I'm going to check, and let's go see what's going on. It's a little bit windy, but at least the wind is going in the right direction. So what I noticed in last week's video is I'm losing quite a bit of efficiency when it comes to getting my board set up properly. So what I'm doing now is I'll catch the wave, I'll pop up, I'll do a bottom turn, and I'll get the board traveling up the wave, which is good, but I'm doing it too quickly. So I'm not actually giving myself enough time to get to the nose. So what ends up happening is either I have to run to the nose extremely fast to keep from falling off the back, or I'll do 2 cross steps and then I'll have to reset myself, get the board traveling back up the wave again, and then finish my last 2 steps. So the waves are looking really fun here. I might go check one more spot, and then I'll share with you my thoughts on how I'm gonna remedy this situation today. So there are 2 things that I'm gonna do today to remedy this problem I have. And number 1 is kind of a no-brainer. I'm just gonna get the board traveling up the wave slower. I don't know how exactly that's gonna work out, but if I do get it traveling up the wave slower, I'll have more time to get to the nose. So I'm gonna attempt to experiment with that. And if that completely fails, what I'm gonna try then is to do my regular bottom turn, whether it's fast or slow, doesn't matter. But directly in the middle of the bottom turn, I'm gonna do my first cross step. So that means I'm gonna be finishing out the bottom turn while in a cross-stepped position. I see a lot of pros do this, and I think it will really help with, number 1, getting myself used to surfing in the cross-stepped position, which is a huge skill to know how to do. And number 2, I'm 1 step closer to the nose when the board is set up. So I'm gonna try those 2 things, and we'll see if I can make one of them work. I'm just waiting on Chris, the drone pilot, to get here, and then we're gonna get at it. I am so incredibly excited today because I've only taken my new board out once, didn't surf particularly well, and I have high hopes for today. So without further ado, I'll see you out in the water. Please enjoy the edit. I am absolutely loving the flow of this new board. This is only my 2nd time using it, and it already feels like an old friend. There were many waves today that I had great success with getting the board to travel up the wave slower. Even though I didn't get to the nose on this wave, the board setup was very clean and in control. I was actually quite happy that I didn't get to the nose because I was obviously way too far ahead of the pocket and would have most definitely dug the nose in. This is one of those things that you can really only learn by spending as much time in the water as possible, and it's nice to see that ever so slowly my decision making is improving a bit. Like I said, just a bit. Before we analyze my best wave of the day, we must discuss my cross-stepping on frontside waves, which was utter trash today. I was so happy with my backside wave performance today because I set a goal for myself of slowing down my board setup and achieved great results. However, my frontside waves were so frustrating because it seemed no matter what adjustment I made in my board setup, my journey to the nose was ugly and way out of control. So I did the legwork and I really analyzed my clips and also sought some outside advice on the matter. I can now say with confidence I 100% know what I'm doing wrong, and I'll cover it in next week's video. Take a guess in the comments as to what you think it is, and just a little hint, it's not only about my problem staying on the center line. And a couple other highlights from today. I got a decent reverse drop knee turn here, and I also almost landed the finish on this wave, which is a maneuver I need to start putting some work into. And finally, the best wave of the day. I was quite proud of this one for a few reasons. First being that I set the board up in a slower, more controlled manner than usual. Next, I really utilized my first cross step, so my left foot, to keep the board in control and the rail locked in the wave. By the time I got to the nose, I was in a fairly critical section of the wave, which is exactly where you want to be. And lastly, I actually cross-stepped back off the nose before it was too late. So yes, attempting to get the board to travel up the wave more slowly really helped my overall control, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. Just the fact that I was so focused on keeping a stable board in the setup was the main reason for the success. Attempting to keep control forced me to use that first cross-stepped foot, so my left foot, to keep the board stable while traveling in the right direction up the wave. This session really taught me that every step counts. Keeping the board stable while cross-stepping is no easy task, and I discussed that in this video here, so make sure you watch that next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see everybody next week.